Hi, so another little bit of a weekend project, if you will, using the Feather Bluefruit. I did post a video on the project. You've essentially producing sort of some DIY home lighting. I'm actually using a very similar, but I'm using the same Feather wing there. That's the NeoPixel wing there, just wired in. Now essentially what I'm doing here is I'm taking the wing and I'm using a program, an example program. It's the controller for the password interaction. It was programmed for the Arduino Leonardo, but with a few adjustments and tweaks I've managed to get it working for the Feather Bluefruit 32U4. I've hooked this up using I2C to a PN532 NFC Shield. I've also got an NFC a wing there as well, which I could hook this up to display essentially a lighting effect, which I did get working earlier, and it is in the script there as well. You probably can't see that. Point being, it's just a display of colour. But what we're doing here is I've got a script on here. I've got a number of tools and devices, one of them being an NFC Ring with 2 chips in. I've also got a MiFare 1K card. I've also hooked up a little blue sequin, little status light for the project. This essentially I programmed this in the code so that once it is ready, this lights up. You'll also find that if I go into bootloader mode by hitting that reset switch, it'll do this sort of a glowing effect as it begins to boot up. But all I'll do is actually show the code which we're doing. Originally, I will say, obviously it wasn't this messy as such in terms of the wiring. I originally planned to use a Genuino Zero. It's the latest Genuino board. However, it doesn't support I2C Clock Stretching, which is required to use I2C. You can use SPI, but I haven't managed to get that working yet. If you manage to get it working, do let me know though. We've also got an I2C OLED board. They are hooked up to the same pins there. What I'll say, the really thing about the I2C is that as long as each of the devices has a different address, it'll still work, which is why I've managed to get away with using this. But essentially the idea here is we have our little early display here, and the idea is that as we interact with the NFC Shield, things will happen. So I'll take a card. Now this card here is the MiFare 1K card. I'll say I've tested this with an NTAG, and MiFare. So what we'll see here is if I place this on the shield, it's also disabling the 4-byte UID of the card, which has been combined there. That's obviously I forgot. Now in this code I've scripted it so that it's invalid for that card. However, I take my ring. This has 2 chips in it. It's made by a company called NFC Ring. That's what I was a Kickstarter campaign. I'm really enjoying using it. Now, the public side of the ring, which is the side with the carbon fibre tint, I've programmed to be invalid, as you can see. However, if I flip it over, I've got one there. There's actually a secondary NFC chip, which should be valid. As there are 2 chips actually built in on the board. What you can also do, if you disconnect the display, you'll actually see the lights will happen as well, which I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so now I've put the NFC FeatherWing on the device there. That is actually glowing in a sort of a yellow. I know it's not really easy to see here, but anyway, that's yellow there. The idea is that this actually, I have had to disconnect the display here. I am planning on putting it on a breakout, so I won't have to do that in the future. But for now, it seemed like a quick fix. So I'm going with that for now. I'm just going to turn this down a bit so you can actually see. You can actually see that's quite an interesting little. You can actually see the refresh rate between the LEDs there, which is quite nice. But essentially, so I can even turn that off, couldn't I? The idea is we have red here, and then red, invalid, again, invalid. However, if you want it to work, oh look at that, amazing. Now this can also be linked in with the display as well, if you wanted it to. I've written all the code here, and I will be putting it up on my GitHub respo. So yeah, it's slightly modified, and hope you enjoyed.